Have you noticed how some people walk into a room full of laughter and walk out feeling drained? Not bored, not upset, just empty. They can hold conversations. They can smile at the right moments. They can even be the most attentive person in the room. But the moment they get home, they close the door, lean against it, and exhale like they've been holding their breath for hours. Have you ever wondered why that happens? Why being around people, even good people, can feel like running an emotional marathon? Picture this: an office meeting, bright lights. Everyone is seated around a long table. Someone presents an idea. Another interrupts. A subtle shift in tone passes through the room. Most people barely register it, but one person does. They're not just listening to words. They're reading posture, tracking facial expressions, noticing who seems threatened, who's pretending to agree, who to shut down. They adjust their own voice slightly, softer, safer. They rephrase a comment to avoid friction. They choose silence at the exact moment tension spikes. Or imagine a birthday gathering, music playing, conversations overlapping, laughter filling the air. Someone makes a joke that lands awkwardly. There's a flicker of discomfort, half a second. Most people move on, but this person feels in their chest. They mentally calculate whether to redirect the energy, whether to laugh louder, whether to ask a question to shift attention. They aren't just present, they're managing. And when it's over, when everyone goes home, they don't feel socially fulfilled. They feel depleted. It's not shyness. It's not weakness. It's not that they don't like people. What's happening is quieter than that. Some nervous systems learned early that social spaces are unpredictable. That connection requires monitoring. That belonging isn't automatic. It's earned. So the brain adapts. It becomes hyper-aware. It scans for tone shifts, emotional undercurrents, and subtle rejection cues. Not consciously, automatically, like background software that never shuts off. For some, this pattern started in childhood. A home where moods changed without warning. A parent who needed emotional caretaking. A classroom where fitting in required constant adjustment. The nervous system learned a simple rule: stay alert, stay agreeable, stay useful. Because safety came from reading the room correctly. That adaptation is powerful. It sharpens perception. It builds empathy. It creates social intelligence, but also costs energy. Imagine running 10 emotional calculations per minute. Is that comment sarcasm? Did I say too much? Is someone uncomfortable? Should I smooth this over? While others are simply interacting, this person is regulating the atmosphere. And management is exhausting. There's another layer. For some people, social interaction doesn't just require attention. It requires performance. Not fake in a malicious way. Strategic. They learned that being fully unfiltered wasn't always safe. So they curate. They present the calmer version, the funnier version, the agreeable version, even when they're tired, even when they disagree. That small gap between inner state and outer behavior, that's friction. And friction drains energy. The body feels it as fatigue. Not because people are bad, but because the system is working overtime to maintain harmony and avoid vulnerability. Over time, this creates a pattern. They become the reliable one, the listener, the emotionally steady presence. In relationships, they're the calm during conflict. At work, they're adaptable. In friendships, they're easygoing. But inside, there's a quiet depletion. Because few people are reading the back, few are monitoring their emotional temperature, and the nervous system notices that imbalance. So after social interaction, the body demands recovery. Silence. Solitude. No performance. No scanning. Just stillness. Now here's where it becomes interesting. This exhaustion isn't just sensitivity. It's a survival strategy that became a personality trait. Hyperattunement once protected them. Now it defines them. And in adulthood, this can shape everything. In relationships, they may attract louder personalities, people who take up more emotional space. The dynamic feels familiar. One regulates, the other expresses. In conflict, they withdraw to conserve energy instead of escalating. In careers, they might excel in roles requiring observation, negotiation, leadership, counseling, strategy. They can read patterns others miss, but they also struggle with boundaries. Because saying no disrupts harmony, and disrupting harmony once meant danger. So they overextend, then feel exhausted, then blame themselves for being too introverted. But this isn't just introversion. Introversion is about stimulation thresholds. This is about vigilance. There's a difference between enjoying solitude and needing it to recover from emotional monitoring. When someone's system has been scanning for years, silence isn't luxury. It's recalibration. Now here's the strategic layer. Hyper-awareness is power, the ability to sense shifts before they become visible. That's leverage. In negotiation, it allows anticipation. In leadership, it builds influence. In relationships, it creates depth. But power without awareness becomes self-sacrifice. If the pattern runs unconsciously, the person becomes the emotional regulator for everyone else and forgets to regulate themselves. The real exhaustion isn't from people. It's from carrying the emotional weight of the room. And here's the subtle truth. Many who feel drained socially are not socially weak. They're socially overdeveloped. Their perception is refined. Their nervous system is fast. Their empathy is high. The problem isn't capacity. It's permission. Permission to stop scanning. Permission to not fix the silence. Permission to let someone else misunderstand something without rushing to smooth it over. When that permission is absent, every interaction becomes a micro-strategy session. And strategy burns fuel. There's also a fear beneath it. If I stop managing the atmosphere, will things fall apart? Will people pull away? Will conflict explode? That fear keeps the pattern alive. But here's what often happens when they experiment with restraint. Nothing collapses. Conversations survive. People adjust. Sometimes, others even step up. And that moment is destabilizing in a good way, because it reveals something powerful. The world doesn't need constant emotional supervision, and neither do most relationships. The exhaustion starts to soften when awareness grows. When someone can walk into a room and notice, I'm scanning right now. That pause alone shifts energy. They can choose, engage deeply or observe lightly, respond or let silence sit, adjust or stay authentic. The goal isn't to become indifferent. It's to become selective. Selective with attention, selective with effort, selective with emotional labor. Hyperattunement is a skill, but like any skill, it should be used deliberately, not compulsively. Because here's the cost of never turning it off. Resentment builds quietly. People assume you're fine because you appear calm. They assume you're energized because you're competent. And slowly, you begin to feel unseen in the very spaces where you understand everyone else. That loneliness is heavy. Being the one who understands but isn't understood. That's the hidden weight. But the moment this pattern becomes visible, it transforms. Awareness introduces choice. Instead of asking, why am I so drained? The question becomes, where did I overmanage? Instead of labeling oneself antisocial, it becomes clearer, my nervous system was working. That shift removes shame. And with shame gone, responsibility enters. Because now there's a decision. Continue being the invisible regulator, or start redistributing emotional weight. Let others feel awkward pauses. Let someone else initiate the connection. Let disagreement exist without smoothing it instantly. At first, it feels uncomfortable, but discomfort isn't danger. It's unfamiliar freedom. Over time, social interaction changes. Not because people change dramatically, but because the internal strategy softens. Energy is conserved. Engagement becomes cleaner. Conversations feel lighter. And the exhaustion, it decreases. Not because socializing becomes easier, but because the system is no longer operating in survival mode. There's strength in sensitivity. There's intelligence in observation. There's depth in emotional awareness. But none of it requires self-erasure. The room can breathe without being managed. Silence can exist without being repaired. Connection can survive authenticity. And the person who once left every gathering drained can begin leaving with energy intact, not by becoming less caring, but by becoming more conscious. Here is your revised ending section integrated naturally into the full script structure with a new next video title added and a subscribe placed slightly before the final emotional landing, so it doesn't feel abrupt or sales-driven. Now that this pattern is visible, it's not something to eliminate. It's something to refine, to use when needed, to rest when not, because exhaustion is often a signal, not of weakness, but of overextension. And once that signal is understood, the power shifts. If this resonated, subscribe. The next video is called You don't need 10,000 hours. You need 18 minutes a day. It explores why mastery isn't built through obsession, but through controlled, consistent effort, and how small daily repetition quietly reshapes identity. Because the same awareness used to regulate rooms can be redirected toward building skills. Now, back to this moment. The next time that heavy feeling appears after social interaction, pause. Instead of judging it, decode it. Where was the monitoring? Where was the performance? Where was the silent responsibility? Notice it, not to criticize it, but to understand it. Awareness creates space, and in that space, choice begins. Let others carry their own emotions sometimes. Let silence sit a little longer. Let authenticity replace over-adjustment. The room can breathe without being managed. Connection can survive imperfection. And the person who once left every gathering drained can begin leaving with energy intact, not by becoming less caring, but by becoming conscious of where their energy goes. Human first.